Batman versus Spider-Man. There really isn't many better fights out there. I mean, these guys are each the top tier, the best street level heroes in their respective universes. And on top of that, well, they both just happen to be starring some of the best video game franchises ever. And today, let's talk about those video game heroes. More importantly, let's talk about who would win in a fight between these video game heroes. We'll analyze their strengths and weaknesses, powers and abilities, gadgets and tech and skill, and all of it to find out who wins. What's up, guys? I'm Daniel and this is DanCo. We do fight breakdowns every week, plus the occasional power ranking video like this one or things like that. So if that seems interesting to you, we'll sit back and enjoy the video. Hit that like button. And if you want to, we'll hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Now let's get to it. Now you all know the story. Peter Parker was a wimpy high school nerd until one fateful day at a science fair, he was bitten by a radioactive spider, granting him extraordinary abilities. However, after refusing to stop a criminal, his Uncle Ben would go on to be murdered later that night. After that fateful day, Peter Parker took his uncle's words of wisdom to heart. With great power comes great responsibility. And so he devoted his life to stopping any and all crime that he could, becoming Spider-Man. Now, Peter is obviously physically powerful. Like, the kid is crazy strong. He barely even has any true physical equal in the game, which means that he's able to overpower most everyone he runs into, sending enemies routinely flying through the air and knocking them all around. And that's not all he's doing. No, he's lifting up cars, bringing speeding trucks to a dead halt, and pulling on helicopters and holding up construction cranes, and just all sorts of crazy stuff. Like, let's take a look at this one. Early on in the game, when Peter has to lift up some rubble to save some civilians at Fisk Tower. Each of these piles of rock could weigh somewhere around 2 tons, and Spider-Man is having to lift 3 pieces of rubble off of them. But just when he's almost got it, 2 more even bigger pieces of rubble fall down on him. So Spider-Man is having to lift like 12 to 14 tons of rubble off of him. That's a whole lot of strength. And now let's take a look at another one, when he has to catch a punch from Rhino. The Sinister Six are teaming up for the first time, and Rhino is their big muscle. We see him easily lifting up and throwing around cars, which would weigh around 2 tons, and throwing around shipping containers, so about 2.5 tons. And Spider-Man was able to catch his punch cold. And then, just as strong as Spider-Man is, he's also just as tough. I mean, let's actually science this for a second. Newton's third law says that for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So that means that every time Spider-Man throws a punch and sends a man flying down the street, breaking like all the bones in his body, Spider-Man is actually taking that same force too. And then, I mean, look at his fight with Kingpin. This guy is basically Bane's equal from over in the Arkham verse, as he's able to ram Spider-Man right through a concrete wall, then pick him up and throw him through another one for good measure. He's able to take some serious blasts from Mr. Negative, survive a whole big time beatdown from the Sinister Six. Then there are all his fights against the Shocker. Let's take a look at those. There was one time where Spider-Man shows up to save the day and stop Shocker, and so he locks both of them inside the bank vault. Problem solved, right? Well, no, because Shocker punches Spider-Man and sends him flying, knocking the vault door straight off its hinges while he's at it. Spider-Man is taking a 30-ton punch here, and he's able to instantly jump right back up and just keep on joking about it. But the best thing that Spider-Man has going for him? Well, while his strength is impressive and his durability is insane, it's gotta be his speed. That's gotta be the best thing Pete has in his corner. Spider-Man is easily able to dodge bullets, just swinging all around, minding his own business. Bullets literally are not a threat to the kid. I mean, like dodging gunfire from helicopters and ducking around miniguns. He's easily the fastest, the most agile. Just good luck landing a punch on him. Good luck, Batman. Now, if you're watching this video, or are just a living, breathing human, well, odds are you probably already know who Batman is. So no need to really get into his backstory here. Dead parents, hates crime, dresses like a bat, might be a little bit crazy. Not much to it. He's the Batman. Now, in the Arkhamverse, Batman is supposed to be just a normal human, just in peak physical condition. But seriously, he's like a super soldier, at least. He's got those Captain America muscles for sure. He can pull down walls and tear off metal vents and bust through walls and crush metal, and he's just ridiculously strong. I wonder how much of Bruce's training program is just straight steroids. Batman is regularly just sending people flying all over the room, punching them so hard that they're literally leaving their feet and sailing. And sometimes he'll do it with 20 plus people all at once. And then there's the big three: Bane, Killer Croc, and Solomon Grundy. And these are the three strongest beings in the Arkhamverse. And Batman is still able to fight against all of them. Like, take Killer Croc for instance. Batman fought against him in Arkham Origins, when Croc was one of the 8 assassins coming after him. And Croc was trying to eat Bruce's face off, just casually chomp down on him. And Batman was strong enough to hold Croc off. And just so you know, Killer Croc is strong enough to rip apart a whole prison. He's completely bulletproof too. Batman knocked him out with his punches. And then there's Bane. When he's on the Titan Venom, Bane is a whole other beast. He's crazy. He transforms into just one giant muscle with a little face popping out of the top. Able to smash Batman through brick walls like it's nothing, and smash through other walls and chuck cop cars around. Batman is still able to break free from Bane's grip. And he's bulletproof too. Can just charge right into gunfire. And while Batman had to straight up run him over with the Batmobile to actually put him down for good, Bruce was still able to injure him with his punches. And then there's Solomon Grundy. He's strong enough to rip out his huge steel ball and chain and just start swinging and smashing those things all around. He's way stronger than Bane in the Arkhamverse too. And yet, Batman is able to break free from his grip. That's gotta require some serious strength. And not just that. One time, Batman fought against Grundy for a week straight. We're talking about a real high level of strength here. But if you're out there defending the streets of Gotham every night, well, it's gonna take a whole heck of a lot more than just being strong. I mean, a good bit of Batman's villains are just as strong as him. He's gonna be taking some punches along the way. I mean, one time Bane picked up Batman and just straight threw him through a wall. Then straight up punched him through a concrete wall, and he just kept on going. In fact, he's taken a ton of attacks from Bane over the years. Like a ton of high-powered attacks. He's taken a ton of attacks from Killer Croc over the years too. Took attacks from Grundy. Took attacks from Clayface. Batman can take a punch for sure. On top of that, well, he's essentially bulletproof. Can take all sorts of gunfire with his armor and not go down. He can take plenty of explosions too. Essentially walk through massive explosions not even be fazed by any of it. And I'm talking being right there at ground zero with the explosion, taking it without any problem. He can take electricity, withstand poison, and survive enough fear toxin to drive 10 men insane and break through hallucinations and everything. Finally, Batman has some real speed too. You can't count that part out either. This guy is truly the best of us, the best human out there. He's the strongest, he's the toughest, and he's the fastest. Batman is insanely fast while in combat, dodging all sorts of attacks, leaping and moving at just insane speeds. And actually, the further that he gets into a fight, well, the faster he moves. He's able to easily dodge bullets. Literally, this is just easy for him. And Batman just has some of the greatest reflexes and combat speed that you're ever gonna see. But he might be moving so fast that you just don't see it. I mean, he can move at just ludicrous speeds, blocking attacks and releasing punches, just moving at basically superhuman speeds. I legit don't even know how he's able to move that fast. I just don't. So, who wins here? Who's coming out on top? Well, I think Spider-Man is clearly physically better, except when it comes to speed. I can't quite put my finger on it, can't quite figure out why, but Arkham Batman is surprisingly superhumanly fast. And it's not just dodging bullets, because Spider-Man is doing that too and doing it better. But it's really in a fight, in actual hand-to-hand combat. And Batman is just able to move at these insane speeds, lightning fast speeds. I can't quite get over it because it's just so crazy. Now, obviously, Spider-Man still has more raw speed. He can definitely still be faster. I mean, he built the Velocity suit, which amplifies his speed and can travel all around New York City, helping people, saving them, stopping crime, doing it all within just 10 seconds. Spider-Man is clearly still faster, but if there's an area where they're at least a little bit on the same page here, well, it would be speed. But that's okay. Spider-Man can have the physical edge in the fight. We can give that to him, because Batman clearly has the skill edge. He's way more skilled, way better in a fight. There's no doubt about that. He's an expert in most known forms of martial arts, which I think is just a hilarious way of wording it, because it implies that there are mysterious, unknown forms of martial arts out there. He's easily able to defeat whole groups of thugs. You routinely do this throughout every single Arkham game. He's able to take down whole teams of SWAT officers, take down a big group of Tiger Guards, who are a private security company. He can take down ninjas in the League of Assassins, then beat the Arkham Knights men too. So yeah, Batman is skilled enough to beat whole entire groups of people. No problem whatsoever. He's able to fight against and beat Deathstroke, who's physically way more powerful than Batman, and can beat 100 enemies at once. And Batman beat him. He's able to defeat Ra's al Ghul, a 600-year-old warrior. Then he's able to stalemate and fight against Lady Shiva too, someone who's reportedly unmatched in combat skill, and fight her while fighting against other ninjas and martial art experts at the same time. And Spider-Man has actually struggled with these types of fighters before in the past. Like, there's definitely Taskmaster. He's given Spider-Man a hard time in the past, but specifically Silver Sable. There's just something about a confident woman in skin-tight leather that Peter just can't defend himself against. Like, seriously, she's just an athletic woman with no superhuman powers, and yet she's a harder boss fight than Doc Ock. She's got no powers, but is able to fight against Spider-Man because of just her skill. So yeah, I think that means it's definitely possible that Batman gives him a seriously hard time here, especially if you combine his speed and his strength and his toughness into the mix too. Then of course there's all of Batman's gadgets, all those toys he's got in his corner, like the Batarang, or the thermal Batarang, or the shock Batarang, or the reverse Batarang, which is just the same as a normal Batarang except it'll hit you in reverse, or the sonic Batarang, or any of the other little Batarangs he's got going on for him. The Batclaw, which can do so much more than just help Batman jump around the rooftops at night. He'll use it to grab people and yank them around, kind of like his own web shooters. And he's even got a super Batclaw, can shoot out 3 different Batclaws at once. He's got smoke pellets, shock gloves, which he straight up stole off a dead body, explosive gel, which Batman will quick deploy in fights and take people out that way. He's even able to summon the Batmobile in an instant. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily fair to give Batman a literal tank in this fight. Might be a bit too much of an advantage, but it also might count as standard gear for him. So I don't know, y'all decide down in the comments, debate amongst yourselves. Because who knows, Spider-Man might even be able to take down the Batmobile too. Now, even if he's a little poor, not quite bringing in rich billionaire trust fund money, Spider-Man was still able to get his hands on some great tech of his own, like his concussive blast, able to knock people around, his suspension matrix, just leave people dangling up there in the air, or even little spider drones that can just fly all around, shooting out little energy lasers and everything. Then there are his web shooters, just classic Spider-Man. He can web bad guys all up, swing around, grab cinder blocks and smash them over people's heads. He can really do it all. And these webs are like ridiculously strong too. Like good luck Bruce trying to get out of these things. They're strong enough to web up Shocker and web up Kingpin. And both those guys are way stronger than Batman. Strong enough to physically dominate Spider-Man, and yet can't break out of his webs. And I think the real kicker here is Pete's spider sense. I think it has to be, right? This allows him to sense any incoming attack, any punch or hit that Batman throws his way, and Peter is going to know about it before it ever even happens. And then Spider-Man's literal perception of time is slowed down, giving Spider-Man enough time to dodge the attack and then counter-attack. Easy peasy. Now, yes, Batman is the better fighter. He is smarter and more strategic. He could think of some ways to take Peter down. But he's fighting an uphill battle from the very beginning. Spider-Man is beyond Batman in every way physically. Bruce is a more skilled fighter, but it's not like Spider-Man is a bad fighter. And while somebody like Silver Sable or Taskmaster might have given Spider-Man some trouble in the past, I don't think you can ignore the fact that Batman's best feats are just regularly performed by Spider-Man. There's definitely the off chance that Batman could take it. He's made a living fighting superhuman dudes. He knows how to get it done. But that's really just an off chance. For the most part, I feel like you kinda have to go with Spider-Man here. Spider-Man wins. But what do y'all think? Sign off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. And if you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You'll get to see more videos like this one every single week. And I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.